Hello, welcome to another modern stream. Today we're going to be playing some elementals all day. We're going to be trying probably this is the list that I've been the happiest with, but maybe I'll make like a couple of changes here and there. I've been very impressed by Prismatic Ending, and Mold Drifter also has been pretty impressive to the point where I actually bought the third copy in old frame in MTGO. So you know that I'm committed to the third full Mold Drifter because of that. Then the rest of the shell is kind of maximizing an interaction, quote unquote, by playing Teferi and Prismatic Ending. But I'm still pretty high on Flamekin the Harbinger. I know Canister hates this card. I honestly don't know why. Like I understand that it's kind of mopey sometimes and it's card disadvantage, but that's why the two copies have felt very good to me. It's because you can just kind of get your engine going from nothing, which is pretty important. And like if you have a recent reef and you have a Flamekin Harbinger, then the card is just straight up busted, right? Yeah, the rest of the shell is what we have come to love: Solitudes, Furies, Omnath, all of the busted cards, and we get some extra blinks with Ephemerate. The mana base is a little bit all over the place. We have some fetch lands, we got some basics, we got some shock lands, and we have some 3 copies of Cavern of Souls. So yeah, we're gonna see how this works in a league. The sideboard has Bolts, Alpine Moon against Tron, Bolt against monkeys and stuff like that. Resting Pieces, which have been very good actually. I've been really liking the Resting Pieces. 4 copies of Force of Negation against combo control and stuff like that. Endurances, which have been probably the single most overperforming card. I'm considering playing a 3rd copy. And we're gonna see if we can make room for it, maybe in the main deck, maybe in the sideboard. And then 2 copies of Engineering Explosives as interaction. We're going to see how this works out. Make sure that you hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you there for round number 1. Alright, let's go. Round number 1. The sand is close. Let's ship it. I'm gonna keep this one. I think we're just sending a duel, just sending a fetch land here. I don't know what I'm gonna be fetching for, so I'm just gonna lead on Sacred Foundry. So if I draw a Flamekin, I can just play it. I don't need to shock. But we don't really know what we're playing against just yet, so. Some blue red pile. Why don't kill? Is that they like COD Warzone where I can just enter a creator code to support you all the time? Yeah, that'd be cool. I don't know why they do that thing where just they make you, you know, put the code every single time. It's kind of annoying, honestly. Hallowed Fountain. Beaning Prismatic Ending. Well. If they tap out again next turn, we're gonna be in fairly good shape. They don't tap out. They're playing Phoenix. Ah-ha-ha. They are playing Phoenix. Assuming they're gonna get back their thing. Well, good thing that we use the Prismatic Ending on the DRC actually, right? Because we're not gonna have any other targets in their entire deck. Call of Duty makes you enter it one per season, so all my purchases just default to supporting the designated creator. Should have the ability of my TG account to say that to you as well, and not just have to go through it. Yeah, it's just unnecessary, right? Should be. You'd imagine they would be fairly easy to set up. Yep. So I think what we're gonna do that right now is upkeep. We're gonna set a stop on the upkeep, and the line is gonna be to, with that trigger on the stack, we're gonna cast our Solitude that, draw a card, and now we're gonna rebound Ephemerate. We're gonna Ephemerate the Solitude, exile the other dude. Was that a good turn? Yes, it was a good turn. Han with the tier 1 sub, welcome back for the 29 months. Happy to have you here, my man. Sing for one. They could have cast Demilich last turn and they didn't. So I assume that they, at least at the end of their turn, they did not had an Demilich in hand. Sure. So we really want to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We really want to draw Omnath. Omnath is our best draw. Kurd Bros with the tier 1 sub. Welcome back, Kurd. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm just gonna fetch here. Want to see some Ren and 7? I spent the entire week playing Ren and 7. It was a good week. Not gonna complain. Well, that's real nice. And now I think I'm just gonna play Muldrifter. So that's probably game. Go up to 13 here. Opponent's got nothing going on. They have 2 cards in hand, sure. They could have Prismatic Ending to deal with Mike the Fairy, sure. The rebound gets countered. Because their fun has been rabbled. That does not count as their spell for the turn. Exclamation point Neoform, indeed. Corner Macabre with the Prime sub, thank you so much for the 16 months. Welcome back, always happy to have you here. Thank you everybody who's hanging out today. And thank you Enotana11 for the follow. The only problem with this right now is that it's just so hard not to... Like, it's probably correct for me to ephemerate my Solitude, but, like, I really, really, really want to ephemerate my Muldrifter. I think I'm just gonna do it. Ugh, another Solitude? God damn it. I don't even know what to do with all of these good plays and good cards. We're just in garbage time. We've been in garbage time for a minute now, so I'm just gonna name... white, whatever, like and nothing doesn't matter anymore. I just want to make sure I have some white sources. So let's do this. Vogue trigger on the stack. We blink it. Draw two. Draw two. And I guess I'll play. Why am I called the last modern streamer? Amazing question. Happy you asked. So there was a point in a very, very dark time in Magic where people forgot about the modern format because there were talks about this supposed new format that apparently existed that was called Pioneer. Everybody jumped ship. Everybody jumped ship into the Pioneer hype. Everybody was excited about Pioneer. They were playing Pioneer. I was the only one. You would go onto Twitch and I would be literally the only person streaming Modern. The actual only person streaming Modern. And that's when I started calling myself the last Modern streamer, because it was actually true. And yeah, that's how it happened. And here we are today, where I am not the last Modern streamer anymore, but I have earned the title. Or I just tell myself that I have earned the title. Let's put it like that. This means that we just... I guess this is actually not lethal. Never mind, because they're gonna gain 6. It's fine. Again, like, it's not like this really matters, right? As I said, we've been in garbage time for multiple turns at this point. This is not lethal, but the game has been over for a while. So put that there, name green. Put that there, name red. I'm just making plays at random at this point. I'm just making plays at random. We can't lose the game. Apparently historic are junk now. Modern is kind of garbage fire right now. Vintage and Legacy don't have supporting paper. Well, Legacy is garbage fire. I think Modern is great. Do you not like Modern currently? I think Modern is kind of fantastic right now. What am I playing again? Phoenix, yeah. So I think these are the cards that I want. Gonna cut one of those bad boys. Gonna shave a couple of these. Pioneer has been good for a while, but nobody plays it. I couldn't tell you. Like, Pioneer was just killed, right? So Pioneer can be good now if they maybe, but it just doesn't matter because the hype has died and just nobody has faith in the format anymore. So the opposite of Modern, right? Like, Modern sucked ass and people were still playing it. Like, everybody just has insane faith in the Modern format. Everybody's just so invested. And with Pioneer, what happened is, like, people would invest on it and then they would get punished. And then people at one point, they're like, why the hell am I doing this? And they just stopped being invested in the format. And now there's nobody playing the format. So it's just kind of over in that sense. When SCG stopped supporting it, a lot of stores stopped supporting it. Yeah, I mean, I know there's a pretty big legacy... There's a pretty big legacy following in San Diego. I know that for a fact. I've played there a couple of times. It's a lot of fun. It's just a matter of the format is just garbage, right? So I think I'm just gonna go with Temple Garden here, tapped. I'm not gonna do the Solitude Ephemerate thing right now, but I'm just setting myself up to do it. And I don't think I'm bolting anything that matters because my opponent went turn 1 Hallowed Fountain instead of going turn 1 Steam Vent, so we can just do this now and pass the turn, and we're just taking the least amount of damage possible. Is there anything that turned this deck off in Grixis Scholar? Play Dress Down this weekend. I haven't like that versus MS. Well, Dress Down is like literally the best thing that you can do against this deck. Bar none. That's it. That is the best thing you can do, and there really isn't that much else. Time I look at Pioneer, Meta, my 5-color Niv deck from 2 years ago is still the best deck, so I guess nothing has changed. Yeah, I guess so. Put in Bins, 2 Demi Liches, so they can get back 2 Liches maybe here, but like we have Solitude Ephemerate. Like, honestly, I don't like the Phoenix deck. I don't think it's very good. I know Spike is hyped on it, but I just don't think it's good enough for Modern. Which is a little bit sad, right? Like, because it's such a cool deck. But it's just not there in the power level, in my opinion. Yeah, Torpor Orb is the card, and that's why I'm playing Prismatic Ends. Like, I'm playing the full 4 copies of Endings, right? Remember what that format we made when we promised we'd support, the same way we promised all of our other new formats in the past, and then we did support it. Then we stopped supporting it. Well, we're going to support it. We promised we won't support it again. Rough. In the Arbor Elf, white limitless player, put all their spells on the same land, no fears of Ice or Vindicate. Well, if I'm playing against this, right? If I'm playing against these colors and I know what my opponent's deck list is, there's no need for me to do that, right? That's pretty clean. I think I'm just gonna play Kahira here. Again, my opponent's been like spinning their wheels and achieving literally nothing, and I'm out here just doing nothing because I don't have to. And the longest that the longer that the turn goes, the better that it gets for me, because I'm just gonna have more cards. I'm just gonna be able to do more things. So. But yeah, it depends on the matchup, Mino Maniac. If you're playing against a deck that has what's his name? Well, that card's just unbeatable for them, right? But I don't really care. I kind of just want them to do stuff, so I'm just gonna play Omnath here. But yeah, you just know what you're playing around. You may be playing around Ice. You may be playing around Field of Ruin, you may be playing around Spreading Seas. Like, there's just multiple things. And we're just playing around nothing here. My opponent ramped me too. That's awesome. Blue or white? Just white. Now I can just start hard casting my dudes. Like, how do they even beat this? They just can't. They just can't beat this. I like the value of having my legacy cards, but I just want to play multiple formats. The fact that I can't even play 90% of format here in New Hampshire without playing strictly online is pointless. I haven't truly touched my collection over a year. Yeah, that's a big deal, right? Like, context matters a lot. Context matters a lot, and there are certain places that have very, very cool communities, and there are other places that don't, and they just have, you know, there's no communities. So yeah, it's context matters a lot because of where I live and like where I go to, like LGSs and stuff. It's like, it's fine. Like, I have access to kind of anything that I want in that sense, in terms of playing the decks that I want to play. It's just, I don't know when my opponent's still here. One mana looting versus 2 mana looting is huge difference. With the deck innovator tags back has wishful thinking for many of these decks. No. I mean, the thing is that I don't think that it has anything to do with Spike. Like, Spike is a genius. Like, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Spike is a fucking genius, okay? I'm not saying anything other than that. What I'm saying is that I don't think that this is just as powerful as the modern format. I don't think this deck is quite there. He has had a bunch of decks that are definitely there. What am I gonna do here? I haven't played my land, so I guess I can just evoke Mold Drifter. And I guess I'll ephemerate it. The trigger in the stack. Again, I have no idea what we're doing here. Just going to discard now. Should I just discard Solitude? Nah, I'm gonna discard this stupid guy here, I think. Yeah, he's a legend, dude. I don't think there's anybody in the history of the format. I don't think there's anybody in the history of the game Magic that has been as impactful in a format as Aspirant's Pack is for Modern. And he has a bunch of bangers, but I just don't really think that this is one of them. A lot of his decks are bangers, but been playing a ton of Modern Legacy tournaments in New Hampshire over the past several months. Not sure what you mean by I can't even play. Oh. I don't know. When I lived in Boston, there were some nice places to play in. But I lived in Boston a really long time ago. So, yeah. I don't know. I have no idea why my opponent hasn't... Like, this game has been over for at least 4 turns. So that's why I'm just hanging out talking to chat. Alright, see you in the next round. Alright, round number 2. Playing against Lurrus. Probably keeping this hand. Yeah. Keeping this hand. Against most Lurrus decks, this hand should be fine. Barring something like Mill. Omnath. Alright, we gotta get there. That's the place where we gotta go. We gotta go to Omnath City. I think I have to take another hit, right? I think I just have to take another hit. Because if I can Fury this Gobo, and I can Ephemerate, sure, but like if they have Searing Blaze or if they go turn to Eidolon, then we are in a lot of trouble. So I think the way that I win this game is my opponent plays an Eidolon right now. So the best case scenario is here my opponent plays an Eidolon. I'll take that too. Okay. We have an Ephemerate on top, which we don't care about, so... Seal of Fire. Okay, so that probably means that they're going to be able to set up Delirium. They're down to 1 card, though. I think I'm doing Temple Guard then, because if I find Utopia Sprawl, I can suit it up in this one. Another Fury. Well, I think that's what we do. And I don't think I'm blinking. So they don't have enough to make Delirium happen. And I don't think I Ephemerate here. Unless they have some 0 mana way like Gut Shot to turn this into a 3/3, in which case I will obviously... Wait, what? Oh, there we go. Alright. I'll bite, I guess. Sure, let's do this thing. Getting Steam Vents here. Put Lurrus in hand. We're gonna decline. Oh, I forgot to fetch. Damn it. Well, that was pretty bad. I kind of really wanted to fetch there. Never didn't have it. Opponent's ready to back it up. So Bolt seems good. Forces seem good. And I think that's it. Can probably just cut the Mold Drifters. Endurance for blockers? Nah, it's not good enough. I wonder if we're supposed to leave in Mold Drifters just so we can hardcast, just so we can pitch to force. I guess Somnath is pretty important, so maybe Flame King is just fine. Utopia Sprawl is definitely good, particularly on the draw. Maybe Shave 1 Fury. Solitude can exile our own elementals in order to gain us life. Can try to do something like this. See what happens. Fury seems like the worst. Not if they're playing a heavy creature version, which it seems like my opponent maybe. As a control player, elementals always seems to have more cards than I do. That's true. What's a good control strategy to beat elementals? Just hope you draw Torpor Orb post board. That's a good one. Drawing Torpor Orb is good. And sweepers are good, but you can't just rely on them. You probably need some planeswalkers. But I mean, I think it's just a bad matchup for you, right? I think Elementals has a good control matchup. I'm looking at this hand, but I just can't convince myself to keep it. This one's better. And I think... What am I shipping? I think I'm shipping Ephemerate. I could also just ship the Force. Let's just ship the Flamekin. So I'm gonna go turn 1 Hallowed Fountain. Something about the Bolt in this deck confuses you. I mean, does your opponent play Monkeys and Goblin Guides? You want Bolt. What better option do you have than Lightning Bolt, right? Utopia Sprawl. Utopia Sprawl is kind of like a land. but maybe better. So I think we keep that. And now we're gonna go tapped Breeding Pool, fetch for basic forest, and I'm gonna Utopia Sprawl on white. Next turn we can Recent Reef plus Ephemerate, or we can Defairy minus or one of their dudes. Well, who said that Fury sucked? Who said that Fury sucked? That's a lot. I think we're dead here. Probably should have forced that, by the way. Yeah, we're just dead here. Okay. So my opponent has at least 12 1-drops, so maybe Fury and Explosives are just fine. Maybe Explosive, not so much. But I kind of like Fury, though. We can do something like this. All right. This hand seems pretty good. We're pretty short on red cards. You just need to pitch 1 and 2. That's fine. You don't need to pitch turns 1 and 2. You can pitch turn 3, turn 4. Just doesn't matter. What are the worst matchup for elementals? Tron and Burn. I think Amulet is actually a really good matchup for us. Scape Shift is a different thing. I think Scape Shift is bad. Scape Shift is bad, but Amulet is quite good. Land? No spells turn 1. No spells turn 1. Gonna get a Breeding Pool here. We really need to find another land when we get there. Okay. So they can seal a fire the Teferi and then play the Eidolon. That seems fine to me. Land. Sprawl is kind of awkward. So what I really need for this, I think that Omnath is my path to victory here. And I'm gonna need this Utopia Sprawl. So I think what I'm gonna do is we're gonna put the Sprawl here, naming blue. Then I'm going to put Kahira in my hand and I'm gonna pass the turn. And we're just gonna Solitude this Eidolon when my opponent attacks. Sweet. 2 free damage. E-Tron equally as bad as Mono Green Tron? No, E-Tron is a good matchup. E-Tron and Green Tron are 2 significantly different decks. With drastically different... the fact that they both of them play Tron is irrelevant. Like, they are drastically different decks. Can I afford to take these 2? So I can get more value from Solitude? I think I can. I may be punished for this, but I think I can afford to do this. White, blue, green, red. Here's a Nomnath. Opponent paths in response. Let's get another island. I would like to get a mountain, but you know, just we don't have it, so. Well, now I'm gonna have to pitch to this Solitude. I may get punished by the 2 damage that I took now. I may get punished by the 2 damage. Congregation Creator can be a problem though. Yeah, sure. It's a lot less of a problem when you're playing Prismatic Endings, right? Which is why I like this card so much. So if they have another Boros Charm and a Bolt, we're dead. Oh, they have Searing Blaze. They were waiting for me to play a creature so they can use Searing Blaze. Yep. Punish for the 2 damage that I took. And I'm gonna lose this game with 5 cards in hand. Yeah, them having specifically the path to exile there was brutal. I really thought that my path to victory was to try to maximize the value that I got from Omnath, but I just didn't get any value from it, so pretty rough. I knew that I was when I made the play, I knew that I was gonna get punished by it. Yeah. Alright. See you next round. Alright. Opponent moves to 6. We're gonna ship it as well. This hand's pretty good though. We're gonna definitely keep this hand. And I'm gonna ship the Fury. We can go turn 1 Temple Garden. Sprawl for blue. I think we're gonna sprawl for white actually. So we can potentially hardcast this Solitude. Don't spreading seize me, bro. Devastating. Absolutely devastating. I don't know. This is probably like some sort of, you know, creature deck. Bruno J. Karam, thank you for the follow. Like some banned ephemerate nonsense. Sterling Grove. Well, never mind. We're about to get Bloodwind out of this game. I am scared enough to do this. I'll tell you that much. Really gotta find a white source, but if my opponent plays a Bloodwind there, Enigmatic Incarnation. So they are playing Incarnation. So they can suck my their Spreading Seas in order to get a 3-drop. Which is pretty good, actually. Because they can go get Renegade Rally or get back their Spreading Seas. Or just get the Magus that I was afraid of. The thing is that Magus is a lot easier for us to deal with. So it's kind of not that big of a deal. I think we pitch one of the Ephemerates. I'm surprised they didn't just get Rallier. I think we'll let this go, and we're just gonna Teferi minus on the Incarnation. Get some time walk action going, find our land drop. Getting in there for 1. Next turn we can Mold Drifter, Affirmate Mold Drifter. So great that they have Magus of the Moon instead of having Blood Moon. I don't 33 the name. Thank you for the follow. We got pretty lucky that my opponent's playing Magus instead of actual Blood Moon, because we would have not been able to beat the Blood Moon. Alright. They can turn this into a 2-drop. What 2-drops can they get, though? So the way we want to stack the triggers now is we want the Mold Drifter trigger to result first, so that we know whether we're drawing a land or not. Meddling Mage. That seems really hard to pull off, my friend. Omnath Locus's Creation, yeah. I mean, that's really funny, actually. But, yeah, obviously, we're doing fine. So, we want to evoke Mold Drifter. Then we want to put the evoke trigger last, then that, and then the other one. So, we're going to draw 2 cards if we find the land, which we don't. Now we ephemerate here. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to see if we find the land. We still don't find land. So now if we find the land off of these recent reefs, we know that we don't want to put it in play. I guess that land specifically doesn't change anything. So we are going to put that one in play. We're going to have to go to discard. So unlucky. So unlucky. Actually, I can pitch one of these Omnaths to Solitude or Fury. Draw a card. Yeah, that seems better. So let's do that. Probably Solitude. So evoke here. We get to draw a card. Elemental. Exile the thing. Pass the turn. We still have an Ephemerate coming off of Suspend. Oh, actually I should have done Fury because we have the Ephemerate coming off of Suspend. Although I guess I'm probably just going to Ephemerate the Mold Drifter. It's just too much value to draw 3, you know? So it's really hard for my opponent to get back into this game. Even though they have their engine going. I mean, unless they have some sort of lock piece going on. If they can assemble some sort of... I don't even know. If they can assemble some sort of... That's cool, actually. That's pretty cool. I like that interaction a lot. I hadn't thought of that. If they have some sort of solitary confinement kind of deal. I would like to Ancestral, please. So we have our land for turn, so now we can put that into play. So I guess we're just gonna Omnath and... Oh, we can just Enigmatic Incarnation, that seems good. 1, white, blue, red, play Omnath. Thank you for the follow, Capoeira. Congratulations on being trophy leader. We already have the fetch, so we're fine. Play fetch land, trigger Omnath, fetch. think we're good to go here. Oh, I didn't think about the fact that I don't have a red card to pitch. Whoops. This doesn't really matter though, right? I think we just discard this land and say go. We can discard the fairy, I guess. Now we can just discard the land. Just pitch the land. Couldn't they have recast Dress Down AOT last turn to nerf all creatures? There's a Teferi Time Raveler in play, which is doing a lot of work for me right now. Omen of the Sea? More like Omen of the No. Wait, you didn't like it? No? Pain. That game started with my opponent spreading season my Utopias Sprawl away, and it wasn't even close. So I guess we only have to be wary of Dress Down. That's kind of the literal only card that we care about. Nothing else really matter. Force Seal of Fire, Dress Down, and Blood Moon. So they do have Blood Moon. Maybe I should play Alpine Moon. No, this doesn't fix my mana. Damn it. So I guess maybe we want the Forces. Furies and Solitudes seem very, very good. So we keep those. Think we'll let the Flamekins go. Ending sounds fantastic. Muldrifter sounds fantastic. So I'm just gonna cut the Utopia Sprawls. I am gonna be a father. I am the father of all Primeval Titan things. But I'm also gonna be the father of a girl in December. Honestly, cannot wait. Gracias, papa. A girl Primeval Titan. Yes, I mean, it's the only possible way, right? This hand's pretty good against Blood Moon, I'll tell you that. Will she be named Titania? No, she will not. It's a good name, though. It's a good name. Maybe a middle name. Thank you, Jesse. Appreciate it. Omnath dead. No, probably not. Yorion. Kahira. Turn 1 Utopia Sprawl. Luxac. Opponent confirmed Luxac. So I guess I'm going to have to go with turn 1 Misty. That's a good answer to Force. To Blood Moon, I mean. Magoose. Master. The Master. masterfully drew my basic. Like the absolute champion that I am. I guess I don't want f6. Well, it looks like we are f6ing. So I think I'm gonna Teferi anyway. This puts the Teferi in play, and it only does that, but it also allows me to just minus on this. So now we are effectively time walking my opponent. So now the Magus is gonna fix my mana for Omnath, which is great. Thank you. And whenever we're ready to get rid of this, we can just prismatic ending it. Also, this Magus is completely locking my opponent out of the game. Yes. Actually, I'll take it. Magus is doing so much work for me. Don't I just kill Sprawl? No, because I'm just not afraid of anything they can do, right? Renegade Rallier for no value. Got a champ. Nice Magus. Still no red mana, by the way. Still no red mana. I think it's likely that I will eventually need to kill this Magus, right? So because of that, I am doing this. I'm holding on to this Prismatic Ending because I may need it later. So we bounce here. We bounce here. We swing for lethal. Sounds good to me. I would like to swing for 8 points of damage. They have Shark? Snowy, they have Shark. Is it a fairy opponent? Yep, there we go. Sweet. See you next round. Alright. No companion reveal for opponent. We're on the play. Can't keep that hand on the play. We can keep this hand on the draw on the play though. I think we send a redundant Teferi. We either send a redundant Teferi or we send Solitude. I'm gonna go with Teferi. Can name blue here. Force check. Force check. No force. Consider beating consider. Uh-oh. Are we missing land drops over there? Oh, okay. They found it. Ding, ding, ding. Sulphur Falls. If we find Ephemerate, we're going to want to Ephemerate this. No Ephemerate. Unlucky. So unlucky. Plus here. And I think just go grab Omnath, right? The Goldfinch with Amulet. Gretchen with an Amulet is insane. It's not the context for Gretchen. It's not the context for Gretchen. It has that issue. That's cute. We're just gonna Solitude the Snapcaster. Opponent is a mini. Sure. Yeah, my opponent's living their best life. Playing Electrolyze. Playing Electrolyze, Fire and Ices. It doesn't get that much better than that, right? Okay, so they have 100% Blood Moon in their deck. 500% they have Blood Moon. So we got a couple of options here. I think my opponent's just... I think we just hardcast another one of these. The other option would be to just bounce my Solitude and replay it, but I think this is better. This is bad against Anger of the Gods, but with how they've been fetching, they probably don't have Anger. Sure. Solitude down. I think I'm just gonna minus on my own Solitude here. It slows down my own clock, but I want to make sure that I have an answer to another Murktide if my opponent has one. And now this is at 4, so it doesn't die to a Lightning Bolt. I guess they could have Shark on instead, but the Shark is also not large enough. I like just bouncing the Murktide. I don't think so, because if I bounce the Murktide, then my Teferi just dies to a Lightning Bolt, right? Which my opponent did have, so obviously my land was better. This is why I'm winning the game, right? My opponent's hand is probably like 2 counter spells, or like counterspell Force of Negation or something, and yeah, like they're just forced into doing this. Which is fine now, because we have another copy, but... So we're probably going to get countered here. But exposing the Teferi to Lightning Bolt would have been awful. No, in this matchup, what's winning the game is the static, right? Significantly different than any other situation. We're not talking about the same thing here. Saving these fetches for Omnath, but I think I can use one of them. So they're gonna have to kill this Kahira, because they don't know about the Fury in my hand, and as far as they know, this Kahira is how I kill their Jace, so I imagine that they're gonna have to kill it. Yep. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I guess I'm gonna actually use both fetches. Just steal a Temple Garden in the deck. Like to kill your Jace, please. Plus the Fairy. Play Kahira. Pass the turn. Putting down a 1 card and a Brazen Borrower. Opponent 100% packing some number of Bloodlines over there. This is a clock, by the way. I guess I Ephemerate here and deny my opponent the draw. This seems worth it, right? It's like counterspell for this Cryptic command. Okay, so forces look good. Mold Drifter looks good. Endurance seems kind of sick too. Don't like Bolt, definitely like Prismatic Endings. Probably Harbinger is not good. Can do something like this. Rip from Murktide? Nah, it's not relevant enough. We have so many answers to Murktide. I'm just not gonna bring this card only because of Murktide. It's just not worth it. Like, I'd rather have Endurance, right? Which is a threat that can clock my opponent. I recorded a video yesterday for Ice with a very similar list to this one, and I played some, like, Endurance was so good. Like, I just played Endurance aggro against the control deck, and it was so sick. Like, I just turned the corner on them on like turn 2 or something, or like turn 3. No, actually turn 2. I just main phased my own Endurance just to put a 3/4 body in play. I just main phased it to play around counter magic and anything like that. I just main phased the Endurance, and that Endurance just went the distance. It was amazing. It was so sick. So I think I'm getting Sacred Foundry here. Oh, I can't. Duh. So I'm getting Steam Vents then. Cyber Forces against Dress Down. No. When Dress Down gets you is when it's being played on your turn, right? So doesn't really do too much in that spot. It's kind of uncomfortable, the fact that I can't really do anything here. Like, I really wish we had access to like a cavern or something, so that I can start playing on my terms. And now we're gonna have to go to discard. Damn it. And this is when a card like Endurance is great, right? I could have just played Endurance on the end of my opponent's turn, force my opponent's action, then I can untap and Mold Drifter. Come on, dude. Am I really not gonna find anything here? Lance. Looking for Lance. So we're gonna have to go to discard here. I think I'm pitching this. It can't be the Ephemerate. I'm gonna have to pitch the Fury. I don't love it because my opponent can now they can play Jace or something, but I guess I can force a Jace if I have to. And now we get to untap a Nomnath. I guess we're not going to get to untap a Nomnath because they're going to counterspell it. Fuck. Well, hello there. I was F6 there. I would have liked to Endurance. Well, they were tapped out, I think. But now that we're on this train, I'm just gonna do this on end step. They may just have to counter this, actually. I think I'm just gonna have to minus on one of the Snapcaster, which is obviously awful, but yeah, that's why. So now I can Solitude and I can blink my Solitude. Am I blinking this Solitude actually? I guess I'm not, because I can just Omnath. It's bad if they have Murktide, but like if they have Murktide, it's only like 4/4. I can beat a 4/4 with my 4/4. We have 4/4 superiority. They do have Murktide. Damn it. Pretty sick draw. Sucks to have to pitch the Solitude, the Omnath there, but I think it's just what we have to do. If they have a Bolt, we're fucked. Gust. Yeah, I'm gonna send that to the bottom. Don't think that's gonna be good enough. That's rough. That's pretty rough. This game was all about that land drop that we lost. This game was all about that land drop that we lost. I think if we had hit that land drop, we would have been fine. But now we've been missing land drops, so it's pretty likely that we're just gonna flood now. Spell Snare. I have literally 0 targets besides that in my entire deck, but they have Spell Snare. Electrolyze, Snapcaster, Electrolyze. Okay. Man, that was rough. That was rough. Changes. Not really. Submit the same. Let's just draw better. Just find some lands. To be fair, I want to say that my opponent's cryptic line bouncing my land was some 5-head shit. Like, that was insane. Like, that was probably like one of the best cryptic commands I've ever seen. I don't want to... I really don't want to undersell how good that play was. Like, that was so smart. That was so smart. Because they knew about the Omnath, and like they just had the perfect way to counter it. It was so good. That's the play that won them the game. If I had been able to untap and play Omnath, I think we have a very real shot at winning. Probably we're still a little bit behind, but I think we have a real shot at winning. But them bouncing the land there was just... super good play. So props to my opponent for finding that line. They are clearly no slouch when playing Blue Moon. Well, I can't really keep this. I'm gonna keep this. Where are my Cavernous Souls, man? Do I have a Cavernous Souls in this deck? I think there are Cavernous Souls here, somewhere. Where are they? I think we jam here. We have the Force, so Mystical Dispute. Okay. That's rough. That's rough for sure. Just Cavernous Souls off the top. Nice and easy. Cavernous Souls. Red source? Okay, so this probably means that we're gonna lose this game. That was the window to resolve Omnath. And now unless we find exactly Cavernous Souls, we're gonna be in a lot of trouble. I'm gonna jam this Recent Reef, it's gonna get counter, and it just spirals out of control from here. Sending that to the bottom kind of hurts, but again, like I need exactly that. I need Cavernous Souls. Brutal. No Slam Kahira. Oh, could I have? Maybe I just missed it. Maybe I just fucked it up. They have 4 cards in hand. I think we're gonna chill, because now we have a plane, so even if they moon me, I can Prismatic Ending, potentially. That does put on some pressure. I feel like Rip would have held both games. I disagree. I think that Rip would have been irrelevant. Like, Rip would have been there over any of these cards, right? Which I don't want. Fuck. Yeah. The only good thing is at least we can kill this with Fury, so it's like a 3-for, it's a 3-for-1 for my opponent. Because they draw a card, and I have to 2-for-1 myself in order to counter it. But if we find Cavern of Souls right now, come on, man. Sacred Foundry. So I think this is gonna force my opponent's counter magic or whatever. Okay, so they counterspell the Ephemerate. And now we get to Fury, Pitching Fury. Where are my lands, dude? How are we up on cards? It's elementals, like this is what the deck does. Blood Moon would be kind of a beating here. Looks like it's just a Murktide. We can beat a Murktide. Thank you for the follow, Cornbread. I think we have to go for broke. This is gonna get countered or gusted or like a million different things. Man, we've gotten pretty unlucky this game. These chumps. So that's why I'm playing it right now. Okay. We never saw Cavern of Souls, neither game 1, 2, nor 3. We never saw a single Cavern of Souls. And that's just the story of that match. Brutal. See you next round. Alright, we're playing against the one and only Dome Harvey for our last round of the day. Of the league. It's gonna be more rounds today, that's for sure. I say that's not elementals, and he answers, or is it? Dom has also been pretty high in elementals himself. Maybe he's trying out elementals with Yorion. That's certainly an idea. Sadness goes on the stack. So I'm gonna have to spend the turn Prismatic Ending the Ren. Because obviously I'm just not gonna play my recent Reef and have it be have it be immediately killed by the Ren minus. I wish I could get Sacred Foundry, but I can't. So since I cannot get Sacred Foundry, I think I want to get Stomping Ground. Get another green source and a red source into play. Been playing Elementals the past few weeks at FNM, but I've been leaning towards cutting the toughest roles because of all the grinding matchups and winning better top decks. I think that the card is very, very good game 1 on the average to want to cut it. So, I mean, if your metagame is like a bunch of grindy decks, then yeah, of course, right? It makes sense. But for an open metagame like the one that I'm facing here, right? Like I don't think that I would want to do that, because then you're gonna get paired against Hammer or something like that, and you're gonna be falling behind, you know. White, green, blue, red. I've been citing all of them out, but that makes sense. Yeah, but the fact, and it's like a great coincidence because I literally just yesterday saw a video about a video from PV where he's saying like common misconceptions in Magic or something like that, and one of the misconceptions that he was saying is like exactly what you're saying right now, which is I always side the card out, so why don't I just cut it, you know? And that's just not how Magic works. That's just not how Magic works. Like, once... Huh. Should I play around Ephemerate here? I think I'm just gonna take this turn to draw 2 cards. Like, you're building your deck because you want to have a main deck configuration, and there are certain cards that are specifically average because they have to be average, you know? They are good because they're average. Explorer is a great example. Sure, in a random matchup, like if you're getting paired against a control deck and you have like a removal spell in place of Explorer, then you're going to be very sad and you're probably going to lose because of it. But if you're playing against an aggro matchup, then you're probably going to win. So in games 2 and 3, once you know what you're playing against, a card like Explorer gets a lot worse because whenever you would draw an Explorer, you would much rather draw X removal spell against aggro, or like another card against a counter spell against control or something like that. So it is just it's just a fallacy. It just doesn't work like that. This is gonna sound awkward, but I think I want to do this here. Well, let's see, good top deck. I was going to just play second Recent Reef, and then I was going to Solitude the Fury, but like this is obviously better. Just getting rid of the Ren straight up. It's just a better play. Now, yeah, it's an interesting concept. And obviously PV is like the best in the history, right? Nobody is a bear. Thank you for the follow. So it's cool that he brings out those concepts, but played both me and Yama in the same stream. Yeah, Vampire Diaries. In the same league. That's funny. She's just playing like 4-color value. I would love to draw an Ephemerate. I feel like if we draw Ephemerate, we're gonna be in good shape. Nice. Let's fucking go. One, two, three, four, five, six. I really want to draw cards, so I think I'm gonna go with Recent Reef here. I really feel like I need to get more value from my cards here. Like I'm just falling behind. That's exactly what I was looking for. That is exactly what I was looking for. So now we can Solitude. I guess we can just... We can just -3 on Resto. Get our card. That's enough. It's pretty good. Now we're gonna see what Dom does. But now it's gonna be tough for them to get value from the Resto unless they have another Uwit, I guess. And I'm gonna get to draw 2 cards off of this Ephemerate. They can hardcast Solitude, but... He can go wall plus Resto, but I think it's going to be much better for him to just Solitude the Recent Reef here. I think he's kind of forced into doing that, actually. Yep. He needs to get rid of the Recent Reef. Get rid of the... Okay. Interesting. One, two, three, four, five, 6, 7, 8 mana, 9 mana. So I can Omnath. Well, I think I'm just gonna Flamekin into second Reef. Get this party started. Put that into play. Whew. Okay. So I guess I want to hold up to... I'm not going to get to gain life here, but holding up Ephemerate is just better than gaining the life. Red, white, play Omnath, Solitude. Okay, so now we're looking pretty good. Can't play that one, just gonna pass the turn. Goblin Lucky, thank you for the raid. Everybody coming from Lucky's stream. We're playing some Modern here. Playing some Elementals. Deck that has been performing quite well. And it's just insane fun. How was the stream? How's Legacy for the non-Delver player out there? Must be rough, huh? It's tough out there. Should check out the list item with Ren. I went 10-0 with it this morning. All right. Gonna save one of these Recent Reefs. Seems like a good deal. So he gets to kill the Teferi, which allows him to start doing some Ephemerate Solitude nonsense, which is gonna be hard, but it's not the end of the world here. If he has Ephemerate, we could be in trouble. We do have Solitude and Ephemerate ourselves, so maybe we're just fine. Just gonna tutor for another recent reef. We can keep the engine going. Interesting that he waited for this. Yeah, maybe he thought that if he did that main phase, like he needed to get value from the Ephemerate. I don't know. So Rest in Peace is actually super good against them. And usually when Rest in Peace is good, also Endurance is pretty good. I think this pro is going to be a little bit slow. And I think that's it. Maybe Lightning Bolt is cool. Juego este Shadow, sí, estuve drafteando mucho, pero no sealed. Estuve drafteando nomás. Leaks are noise, it's hard to get data. That's fair. that's a good point. Yeah, I imagine that if you just take leaks as a consideration, you would look at the legacy meta and be like, oh, everything's fine. We're good here. Soy argentino, Sergio. What a grind. What's wrong with Legacy? Well, kind of the same thing that you could say that's wrong with Modern, which is like Monkey is just fucked up. There's no way he has Blood Moon, right? Your question is what isn't wrong? Yeah. It's like Monkey is just the second coming of Dreadhorde Arcanist, right? There's this way, but I'm a better player, so I don't have a say. Yeah, I mean, it's not that you don't have a say. It's that, you know, you will probably have a tendency to ignore the facts. That's pretty good. Well, would have loved to draw something, but unfortunately we're just 3 for 1 ourselves here. But I have to kill the Omnath, otherwise my opponent is just going to go ham. I'm going to follow Professor Kos. He has actual severe weaknesses, but the Monkey decks have a lot of new ways to compensate. Well, but if you're on the play and you go turn 1 Monkey and you have Dazed back up, like the game immediately ends, right? So that's kind of the problem. Same issue. Like we've been having this issue so many times at this point. I feel like it's always the same issue. It's just like I'm stuck on 2 lands and I'm mulligan because I have like 1 landers and shit, and then I just don't have lands. So it makes me really want to just play 24 lands. I think I'm just gonna the next league I'm just gonna play 24 lands. But like this has happened all the time. Like this has happened like at least 4 times in this league alone. So it's a really good start. If your deck doesn't depend on cantrips and the average Monkey hit is actually pretty bad, so you can just wait and then play removal. Yeah, sure, but like they're still getting mana, right? And they get further and further ahead. Could we afford Ren and 6 in this deck? I mean, it doesn't help, right? Ren and 6 doesn't really help you. Because I'd rather have actual lands, which is the point that I'm trying to make. Back to Titan, lots of lands. Yeah, sure. Lightning Bolt. So this is going to be an ephemerate fight. If he has the ephemerate, this is going to be a problem, but... If I had a red card, I would kill this, because we know that they have a resto in hand, so... He should attack first, though. Hey Scott, how you doing? Funny how Magic has become a game decided by the die roll nowadays. Can't remember it being... I strongly disagree that games are decided by die rolls. Sure, being on the play is an advantage, but it's always been, like, forever. Since the very beginning. But I don't think that games are decided by die rolls or anything. So Ephemerate goes to waste, which sucks a little bit, but kind of is what it is. And I think I want to kill that there because it makes Ephemerate so much better. Which I have not. No, I have seen Ephemerate from him. So yeah, so this is fine. It's a lot of mana. Is this just Yorion? Okay. So opponent's got flyers, so just gonna send here. Then I'm gonna play a land, blue. Blue, white, white, play Teferi. We're gonna Teferi minus on Yorion. Mold Drifter's not bad. And now we can use Endurance to block the Restoration Angel. Endurance once again proving why it's such a nasty magic card. Man, I love Endurance so much. I truly love the card. Find the planes. If they have another Fury, this is potentially a problem. Love this deck, is so much fun. Yeah, same thing. I agree with that. I've been having such a great time playing it. That's a lot of mana, Dom. What are you doing? That's the way to get rid of the Fury, I guess. That's true. That is indeed a way to get rid of the Fury. So we know they have Yorion, Apparition. Okay. So their last card in hand is just the Yorion. So we can plus there. I can just spend this turn getting rid of both of my opponent's creatures. And then I have to deal with the Yorion. So maybe that's just not good enough and I have to get some stuff going here. Now the question is, do I ending key? I think I ending, and the reason to ending is because next turn I can just block with Mold Drifter and Bolt. Because if I spend next turn just you know, ending the rest of the deck, I just don't do anything else, right? So the best way for me to actually use my mana in a productive manner they go face with both. So here comes Yorion. Which is another big dude. We really have to draw like a Nomnath. Well, so that's lethal. So I'm just gonna do this. So we lose to removal. We lose to Lightning Bolt. Go down to 1. We saw Bolt from him. Mold Drifter so good. Mold Drifter so good. Such a good card, man. Mold Drifter is such a good card. Holy crap. Let's fucking go. This is how we do it. This is how we do it. Boom! What a match. What a match. Okay, so I think I want another land. That land can be a Cavern of Souls, or that land can be another green source. Can be a Cavern of Souls, or it can be another green source. Let's try another Cavern. So now we got 24 lands, and we can cut... Sounds like the same thing to me. No, because the green source is, like, I'm talking about a forest, so that we can put a Utopia Sprawl on it. Right now we have 14 forests that we can put a Utopia Sprawl on, which is definitely on the low end of things. But I think I'm gonna go with 4 caverns. What can we cut for it though? We can just cut the Flamekin. The sideboard has felt fine. I think I like the sideboard. So I think we're going to keep the sideboard the same. The only awkward cards are probably the explosives, but the explosives are pretty great against a variety of things. So particularly also Saga decks. So I think I'm going to chill on the explosives. But yeah, we're going to fire off another league. Thank you so much for watching this one. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.